There have been a lot of medical breakthroughs in the news lately, but one area that's really taking off, hormones. There's a revolutionary new method to help us lose weight and more, all by getting our hormones into perfect harmony. Here to show us how, please welcome Dr. Gary Donovitz, president of BioTE Medical. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we have been hearing a lot about hormones in the news today. Can you break it down for us in terms we can understand?
Well, there's so much out there about hormones and then other diseases that come up. But hormones are really important because people's hormones change as they get older. So as a woman ages, she gets into late 20s and 30s, her hormones change and she gets put on medications, maybe not hormones, but other drugs for symptoms she's having, anxiety, irritability, depression, and weight gain. Now obesity has become a diagnosis even, which is amazing because if you look at obesity, and I think I have a graph up for you guys, over the last 20 or 30 years, now 30% of the country is obese.
Right.
That's terrible. So we're doing a terrible job with fad diets and diet pills and things that don't work. The reality is the reason people are obese is they're out of hormone balance, but they never get their hormones checked, and it starts really early for both men and women. Get your hormones checked, avoid the obesity, all the other diseases that go along with it can be affected. High blood pressure, diabetes, and those kinds of things. Why be on all these drugs, have all this self-esteem issues, your clothes don't fit, you don't feel right, you exercise, but nothing works. You do all the great exercise you were doing, that doesn't work. The reason is you're not going to lose weight unless you're in balance, hormone balance.
Now, you talked about hormones changing naturally as we age, but are there other ways that our hormones get out of whack?
Well, there's lots of ways. Your hormones can be affected in different ways. Your thyroid gland, your ovaries, testicles, all those things, whether it's male or female. So not just one hormone, but multiple hormones. So if you don't keep them all in check, it's a bit of a problem. You see out there all these low testosterone centers and all these places that supposedly will give you hormones, but they don't optimize your hormones. It's here's a shot. So you take a shot and you have to stab yourself in the leg every 2 weeks.
That spikes it, right?
Yeah, so you get a big spike in your testosterone. You feel pretty good for 2 or 3 days, and then horrible for 9 days, and then back up. And it's just like women get creams they rub on. You got to put them on twice a day. Your hormones are up and down like a roller coaster. That's not a really good thing, and that's not hormone optimization. That's just a one-trick pony. So you may have a sexual performance issue, here's some testosterone, but you're not really staying healthy for the long term. Remember, you're going to live a lot longer now. You better protect the second half of your life.
That's right. So the idea is instead of spiking in valleys, you want to have a balance there, and to do that, you have to have different treatments, right? Instead of just getting the shots. What are the risks for those shots or for the creams? Or
well, the shots, when you get big spikes up like that, your testosterone level can go really high. It can then convert into female hormone, which is estrogen, which is also not good for you. So that's not a really good thing in males. They don't want a lot of estrogen, get breast development.
Right. Hey, he's not joking. He's serious.
No, I'm serious. And women the same way. If you don't optimize your hormone and you get too much estrogen or even testosterone cream, I've seen people who have giant levels of testosterone in women who have male levels of testosterone. Then you get facial hair, then you get pimples, you get all these things you don't want, and weight gain because it's not balanced. The reality is that going forward, if you really want to protect your brain from Alzheimer's, you want to really reduce your risk of diabetes, why be on all these drugs? If you want to reduce your risk of heart disease, the #1 killer in women as well as men is what? It's heart disease. It's not breast cancer. All right? And the cool thing about the way at BioTE we do hormones, which is what we use these small little pellets, which we put in. They're really tiny. They go back here in the hip painlessly. It takes about a minute to put them in. And the nice thing is you only do it twice a year. So now your hormones remain constant. It's not time released. You get it as you need it. But going forward, it avoids all the antidepressants that people get put on, the Viagra, the Cialis, all the diabetes drugs, the heart drugs, all those Lipitor, Crestor, give you muscle aches so you can't do all those exercises you were doing on the floor because you're like, I'm so tired and my muscles are aching. So if you really want to stay healthy and not do just disease management as you go older, here I have this disease, go to a doctor, get another pill, then you can carry around a big purse or maybe one of those buckets you had, and you have all your pill bottles in there. That's ridiculous.
So you're treating the symptoms and not actually going to where the problem really is.
That's correct. You never get to the problem because most people don't ever get their hormones checked.
So this little tiny pellet here, we showed it earlier next to this dime, it actually goes underneath the skin, so it's not I don't swallow that. It's actually...
No, it goes right under the skin. Doesn't hurt. We put just a little local in. You do it a couple times a year, then we check your hormone levels. So at BioTE, we optimize and balance. It's all individualized. It's not just that pellet. It's whatever dose you need for you, which is going to be different than it is for some other lady, different than I get. And I've been on pellets for 5 years. So your energy level's better, you lose weight, so you sleep better, sexual performance better, sex drive is better, your whole mental focus and concentration is better.
Yes.
So now you're like, why can't I remember things? Well, now you can remember things.
I need that.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
That's for sure. I'm starting to lose it already. Well, we have a couple of email questions for you.
Good.
First one from Clara. She said, they say a lot of weight gain can be related to your thyroid gland, but does that actually happen? Can hormone therapy help if you have a thyroid condition?
Yes, and the problem is most people don't know how to interpret thyroid lab because they only look at one thing, but that's not the really correct thing. So we look at all of the thyroid labs because if your thyroid is not right, it starts right there. Then your cellular energy is not right, so you don't have energy, you're going to gain weight. Other hormones cannot be attached to those cells, so your testosterone can't work, your estrogen can't work. You start developing all this belly fat, and you're like, why am I having all this belly fat? Why is my hair falling out? Why do I feel
all this
terrible?
time I thought the only cure was my Spanx for my belly fat.
Right.
And now I can come see you.
Right. So, yeah, thyroid is very important as well as all the other hormones. So that's why we look at all of them and then put all of them in balance. It's just sort of like a three-sided teeter-totter. Get them all in balance, it works great. You can't just have one in balance and have two out of balance. That doesn't work.
At what age do we need to start checking our thyroid? I have no idea.
Well, in women, we start checking in the 20s, and even in children.
Oh, really?
I mean, children that have problems with allergies and infections and everything, they should be checked too. But for us, we deal mostly in adults. So in their 20s, men in their 30s, and both also get their hormones checked because women in their late 20s can be low in testosterone 10 to 15 years before menopause.
Wow.
And guys start in the mid-30s.
Tick-tock, baby.
That's right.
All right. To make an appointment with Dr. Gary Donovitz, President and Medical Director of BioTE Medical and the Institute for Hormonal Balance, because we want to balance them. Call 713-533-9292. For other BioTE medically certified practitioners in the Houston area, go to biotemedical.com. And don't forget to log on to our Facebook page to let us know your favorite Wizard of Oz character. Did you yell for little Toto like me? I used to stand on the couch going, "Run, Toto, run!" Or do you like Auntie Em? Or maybe you're good like Glinda? We'll share some of your comments later in the show. Do you have a favorite character from Wizard of Oz?
Dorothy.
Dorothy, she's so sweet. I love Dorothy. Plus, we've got a backstage look at the musical Wicked, including how the Wicked Witch of the West goes green. Plus, a taco is a Texas tradition, but believe it or not, you voted one better than the rest. We reveal the yummy details. That's next.